Hello, my name is Ilona and today is Friday, December 8th, 2023. I shared something from Russell Brand. Of course, depending how you see him. It doesn't really matter to me. The interesting thing is that he's talking about stings and he has a big reach, a big public that he is capable of reaching. So this information is getting out as well. And this is about a court case, a lawsuit actually that is happening in Texas. Texas lawsuit claims, well, a certain company, starts with a P, exaggerated effectiveness of the sting. Second sentence, this is interesting, this is theguardian.com. State Attorney General Ken Paxton files suit despite medical consensus that sting prevents severe all kinds of things, apparently. So that's interesting. So in the article, they already, there was like this consensus. So I actually clicked that link to the consensus and then I actually found a page, or I get directed to the page about stings, get the facts, Mayo Clinic. Well, this is interesting because I'm not really aware of the Mayo Clinic. It's not known here in the Netherlands at least, and that is a non-profit American academic medical center focused on integrated healthcare, education and research. It employs over 7,300 physicians and scientists, along with another 66,000 administrative and allied health staff across 3 major campuses. So there's Rochester, Minnesota, Jacksonville, Florida, and Phoenix, Scottsdale, Arizona. Well, this is very interesting. So this is obviously funded, but I couldn't really find anything about funding. But apparently they rack in a lot of money, I noticed. But this is very interesting. And this probably says everything about the Mayo Clinic. In May 2023, Mayo Clinic lobbied against 2 statewide healthcare bills, the Keeping Nurses at the Bedside Act and the Healthcare Affordability Board, by threatening to pull over $1 billion in investment into new facilities and infrastructure in the Mayo Clinic Rochester campus. And these lobbying attempts were successful, with the mandated nursing staff level scrapped. So they actually made sure that there are less people around your bed and it is less affordable for people. Yeah, this is great, this clinic. This is really about health and taking care of people with that attitude. Well, the CEO of the Mayo Clinic, his name is Gianrico Farrugia, if I pronounced that correctly. And interesting enough, if you just look down at what he has done, let's see. From 2019 to 2022, he is a health governor for the World Economic Forum. Well, what a surprise. From 2022 to 2023, he is co-chair of Global Health and Healthcare Governors for, again, the World Economic Forum. The Mayo Clinic is also mentioned on the World Economic Forum. And apparently they already also partnered for certain things happening. They're doing a lot of things together. So that's very interesting, obviously. So the World Economic Forum, that should tell you everything you need to know. Although if you can just look at what they're doing, making sure there are less nurses around your bed. Yeah, great organization. Also something I couldn't find in my Dutch, here, I could actually find it in my English video a lot sooner. In September 2019, the Mayo Clinic entered into a partnership with Google for healthcare innovation and cloud computing, whatever that may mean. And Google planned to open its facility in Rochester, Minnesota for Mayo Clinic. So they're working together with Google. What could possibly go wrong with that one? Oh, okay. Well, that is very interesting. So obviously, this is really some consensus we could trust. These are people we should trust. So that's the thing about the stings. More and more things are coming out. I think that is very interesting. I also wanted to talk about the messages I shared on my Telegram channel. These are messages about, this is from the Telegram channel Storm Rider. See if it resonates with you or not. I think it's very interesting. This is really about the free fall in the Ukraine. And there actually a certain agency here in America, or at least here in the USA, in your USA, I was like here, well, of course, this is the Netherlands here, but they are everywhere, basically, that agency. But there's a certain agency that actually wants to take Mr. Z, Mr. Zelensky, from the Ukraine and bring him to Florida. I saw some messages that actually was talking about that, because they want to get him out of there. Because he, of course, knows way too much. And I believe they were already talking from the USA that there's going to be sad or bad news from the Ukraine. So we know that it's kind of falling apart. And this will also be the collapse of NATO, because a lot of things are going to come out connected to that. I also read in his message from Storm Rider that Russia is actually trying to get Mr. Z as well, because he has so much information, and of course they want to bring that out in the open as well. So we'll have to see where this is really going to end up and what's going to happen. But we can say that the thing in Ukraine has ended. I believe there is no money from the USA going to Ukraine. It stopped by the Republicans that refuse to send any more money if they have so much problems at the borders themselves. So they really wanted the Ukraine to bring in so much money for the dark energy so they can rebuild, of course, and really from there on continue their certain reign in their heads of Earth, and that is completely falling apart. So I see this as a very good thing. So the Ukraine, it's pretty much the end of what's going on there. We'll have to wait and see how it's going to end up. But and where Mr. Set is going to end up as well. And I hope, in a way, I hope more things are going to come out from him as well. So it kind of depends where he will end up. And if they are not going to try to take him out, because that's also a possibility. So we'll have to wait and see. But the Ukraine is ending that entire storyline, but it's not going anywhere anymore. And the thing I wanted to talk about in this video is actually the farmers in France. I've also shared a few clips. You're not going to see it in any media, at least not in the Netherlands. But it's very interesting. They are very, very angry, and it has to do with the fact that there's too much imported products, which really, of course, is an issue with the French farmers, because they are, they won't be able to sell their products at a reasonable price because of all the imported products. And there was also something about manure at a McDonald's, and some media brought it out as it was a stand against the Middle East. It wasn't. It was actually meant against protesting against the fact that they are buying not from the French farmers. So they're not, the McDonald's in France is not buying meat from the French farmers. It has to do with that, or more meat from the French farmers. So they were very upset about that. But there is a lot of things are going on. I think this is worldwide. Farmers everywhere are being targeted because it's all part of that agenda from the World Economic Forum. Huh? Oh, nothing, be happy and eat the bugs and things like that. It's all connected, but they're standing up. I've mentioned this before in France, that they are very easily, standing up for themselves. But it doesn't mean immediately that things are going to change. There were a lot of unrests a while ago, and Macron is still there. So that's interesting. So, of course, here also in the Netherlands, like, people have to stand up, people have to say something. But as you can see, it depends, in my opinion, about the energy that people are putting out and sending out. Because if you're just doing it from anger, frustration, the dark energies will just use it for their food. They really enjoy those lower frequencies. And you are more easily manipulated, and by acting in a very aggressive or angry way, they can also use force against you. I've seen it also here with people here standing up, you know, around the world when things were happening and people were standing up for their freedoms, what happened the past almost 4 years now, that people that were more peaceful, more in balance, standing up and not reacting to certain things. So here in the Netherlands, you can just see they knew where certain things were happening. They would put like bricks everywhere. It was very strange. It's almost like they were hoping that things would escalate. And they, of course, would have people from their side infiltrate and start escalating things because they wanted to use force. And they needed, of course, a good excuse for that. So by not being in a way that angry or that frustrated, it's very, I fully understand people are angry. We should be in a way angry, but we have to feel through that anger and then feel that strength underneath and standing up for ourselves, because then our energy will be stronger. If you're really just acting on your anger, you are not balanced in a way. So that's for them easier for you to manipulate you and to put you in a certain corner and to use things on you. So the more balanced people are in a way, you know, really stepping, we're not complying in any way, but in a very calm way, then it's very difficult for them to act towards you, and they won't be able to create this mess. And we've seen it before that there were certain groups creating, of course they were from the other side walking along and then creating this unrest, but they were easily spotted now because most of the people were not acting like that. So that was very interesting, at least here in the Netherlands. People were talking about Romeos, that's what they're called, like, hey, they are not part of our group, who are these people? So that was coming out as well. So this is more things are coming out if people really step into their power. But right now in France, in a way, you know, people are now stepping up and saying things there, of course. But like I said, it's the energy that is the most important thing. There's nothing wrong with standing up for yourself, you know, doing things, starting initiatives, but it's really about the energy as well. At least that's how I see it. But the cards for the people, for the farmers in France were the 8 of Pentacles, hard work. We've got a lot of old pain. So the 9 of Wands. For the central card in the past, we have, of course, this one, the Devil card. We have the Star card underneath the 9 of Wands. And we have the Knight of Pentacles and the Moon for the near future, the future. So I do think this will continue. They are being supported. So I do think there are some whitehead influences there as well. There's a lot of old pain. And I do believe that this will encourage other farmers around the world as well to really start standing up for themselves, you know, and really from strength and from balance in a way, because then you will change things as well. Like I've mentioned, if you're standing there with a lot of anger, a lot of frustration, then that is what you're going to see. Then you're going to get a lot of resistance from outside of yourself. But for the, it's still not completely clear. There is a plan being rolled out for the farmers. I do believe that we're going to be hearing more of them. But the moon, it's still very confusing where it will lead to. So it's not a completely clear path. But we are going to hear more from them. And like I've mentioned, this could actually also inspire other farmers around the world to start standing up more and more as well. In the Netherlands, there's already been a lot of things happening with the Dutch farmers. And I do believe they are going to stand up again. I just shared an article, I think yesterday or a day before that. Here again, problems and issues for the Dutch farmers. The government here has said that if you do certain things, you know, that are for the, how do you say this, for the climate, if you change certain things or use certain things, we will pay you for that. Well, there are farmers now that have made those changes, but they're not going to get paid what they were supposed to get paid. They will have lower, how do you say that? It's not as much as they said it would be. So a lot of the farmers paid that themselves again, which is again a big issue that it's how do you say this? They are just squeezing everything out of the farmers and they're trying to exist. They're trying to, you know, hopefully hold on. There are many farmers here in the Netherlands and probably worldwide, the generational farmers that have their farm, you know, their for generations in their family. They're trying to hold on to that. So I can fully understand that they're trying to change things. And of course, if they're going to get funding, then of course this will stimulate, if I can do that, I will change things. I can remain a farmer. And then it turns out those funding are not adequate enough. And this is just keeps on going and going and going, because obviously the government here and worldwide has a completely different agenda. And I think more and more farmers are beginning to understand that it doesn't matter what hoops you jump through, the government wants you gone. The governments, the World Economic Forum wants you gone. They want your land, they want the food production. So this is all connected, and I think more farmers are starting to realize that. So I think we're going to hear more things from the farmers in France, but again, the media is kind of denying everything and it's not saying anything about that, but I think more and more is going to happen there. So I'd like to leave it at this. Hope to see you in another video. Bye.